Hey everyone, Happy New Year! And look what I got. It's the Honda Civic from 1995. The first car that we saw in the Fast and the Furious. It's from the brand ERTL Joyride in scale 118 and completely made out of die cast. Alright, let's take it out of the box. Okay. So this model is pretty rare to find, and if you do find one, they can get a bit pricey, especially if they're still sealed. They can go up to $500, which is very expensive for such a cheap model because it's not auto art, they are not super detailed. So I ask myself the question, why are they so expensive? If somebody can explain me that, it would be very helpful. But anyway, I found this model which is in perfect condition for 120 euros. And that's still very expensive, I think. Because when these models came out, they were only like $25 or so. So yeah. Now in the thumbnail you saw some green neon light from under the car. This is not the street glow version because that's even more rare and expensive. So I've made that myself without drilling or ruining the car. I will show you that later in the video how to do that. But anyway, I really love this model and I would love to own one in real life. They are pretty rare, but I found one for $800. Of course, not in perfect condition at all, but still that's a bit more expensive than this model is worth. So for a bit more, you can have this car in real life. And I even had plans to recreate this car as you see it in the movie in real life, but the problem is that body kit doesn't exist anymore, and if you do find it, it's going to be very expensive. Same for the spoiler here and the wheels. So that's going to be a very expensive project. So I scrapped that. But I have the model, so let's review that. Okay, let's start with the famous roll test. Pretty good. Okay. The wheels can turn left and right, but they do hit the fender a bit. The steering wheel also moves. I really like the color of those wheels. It's a mix of silver and gold. Really nice. And this is the bottom of the car. Not super detailed as you can see. Whoa, that's a big muffler. Look at that. And now the dimensions of the car. That's about 24 centimeters. With the rear spoiler, it's a tiny bit longer. And it's 7 centimeters high, and with the mirrors it's 10.5 centimeters wide. Without the mirrors it's 9. And the car weighs 24.3 ounce or 689 gram. Okay, now let's go into detail, and don't mind the fingerprints. I'm not wearing any gloves because they are very slippery and I don't want this car falling out of my hands. So let's start with the windshield. And the window wipers, they are separated, yes. The paint job looks absolutely amazing, especially because they are from Joyride and the paint is very old, so the paint does stand up against time if you take care of your cars, of course. And here's the front of the car, and that looks very menacing, doesn't it? So very 90s. And that massive front bumper. And here's the side of the car, and we do have brake calipers and discs, and they remain in place. And they are very small. That's good because this car didn't have a big brake kit, and it's even smaller in the rear. No, they are the same size. Normally the front brakes should be a bit bigger. Okay, these are just fingerprints, so it's not that the paint is ruined. And here's the rear of the car with that big exhaust just hanging out of there, very racer-like. And yes, we can open the trunk, and of course there's some NOS in there. And the doors can open. We don't have any side windows. That makes it very easy to open. We also have a sky window, and the windows are tinted, but it's purple. It's not black, as you can see, so that's very typical for the 90s. But in the movie, the windows were actually black, not purple. And the interior, as you can see, is not very detailed at all. We even don't have any stickers for the radio, or it's not painted on either. It's just empty plastic. Here are the seats. We do have seat belts, but they are painted on, so it's not real. And the floor is also just plastic. Same with the inside of the door, not very detailed at all. It looks like we do have some dials. Yeah, that's the only thing. And 3 pedals, that is correct because it was a manual. Okay. Now let's go to the engine bay.
Hey, pop the hood.
Pop the hood?
Pop the hood.
And there we will find the very famous VTEC engine. Oh, and look, it's even on the valve cover, VTEC, and also the Honda logo, and the spark plug wires, the ignition coil, and a hot air intake, because a cold air intake should be away from the engine. And here's the intake, but it's not connected to the engine. The exhaust manifold, yeah, not too bad at all. Very nice. Okay, now let me show you how I'm going to make some green neon light for this Honda Civic. Here we have a LED strip. It's very small, way smaller than normal LED strips. It's from the brand Evo, and it works on 12 volt. So here we have a 12-volt battery. So if we connect that negative and positive to this, we have some green light, as you can see. Okay, now let's put the car on its roof, and without drilling or taking the car apart, we are simply going to install this on the bottom. It has 3M tape, so it's very easy to put that on there. It is a bit too long, as you can see, but it is possible to cut this just between the 4 copper dots. That's the place where you can cut this strip. Okay, let's cut it. It is important that it's perfect on the line, or else it won't work. Okay, let's do a quick test to see if it still lights up. Bum, bum, bum. Yes, it still works. Whew. And then we peel this off. And let's see if this glue still holds. Because it's a very old strip. It still feels sticky. Now you can still put some zip ties around here. So that's not difficult to do. Okay, let's see how it looks in the dark. Whoa, that looks amazing. Wow. And a lot better than the street glow version, because there we only have light on the side and it's only a tiny bit. Here it's light all around the car and a lot brighter. Now, if you want, it is possible to completely build this inside the car so you don't see anything, because this battery just fits in there, as you can see. And you could also put a switch between there, and then the only thing you have to do is drill a very small hole here in the floorboard, and then it will come out on the underside, and then you can connect it to each other. But I don't want to drill in this car because it's so valuable. So, but if you want to do it, it is completely possible, as you can see, and it will look a lot better than the street glow version.